where the echo of your actions resounds clearer than any other place you'll find, except for where that's not true. There it is, the tree of life. The idea that all life is related by common descent, where the twigs are existing species and those produced in the past represent the succession of the extinct. The tree's great branches were once budding twigs, a connection between the past, present, and future. A representation of all extinct and living species with its ever-branching and beautiful ramifications. We are an evolution of those that came before. Let's see. It's a place well hidden. It's just below the above. This place is like one big secret that keeps unfolding. Out of Date's impressed you made it this far, but there's still so much left to do. The end of the world is still on everyone's minds. You've beaten a path where you have the power to destroy or save everyone. Question is, what you'll do with that responsibility. He can sense that your heart beats steadily and acknowledges that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Thinks it's important that you remember who you are and where you came from. Someone without knowledge of their history and origin is like a tree without roots. What do you think his are? He's the one that's called Out of Date, remember? Out of Date says there's a time for everything. And now there's no use thinking of the past, for it's gone. Think of the present, because that's where you are. It's time to set your priorities as the one who completes things.
Vunturubo.
If you continue to do good, good will follow you.
Ato wamawa ato awa ya ea.
If the world really does end, there won't be anywhere to run. So he's prepared for the worst, something he calls the Ark.
Koibe o korfabe.
Two sides to everything, but for him it would be devastating if you were forced to use the Ark to escape while the world crumbled.
Ya moluwuvando.
Out of Date says there's no clear record of the chain of events that changed the course of history and brought the world to its knees.
E bubuko vun yunvun hi kobe. Ifari kobo far.
He's found evidence on the Ark, records of a crisis, decades of contamination that permeated the ground and broke its inner core.
Loma utulu ba yuo.
The contamination disrupted what we now know as key energy, the life force that runs through all things, living and inanimate.
Fabube muk kofar mayane.
He's been told the blight affected everything at a genetic level and turned our perception of normality on its head.
Taimis toluwoya lo yalo batoluyo.
It was only those that changed that avoided extinction, proving that the possibility for survival and renewal was real.
The wata nuekek ujbar no barke.
He understands you are curious about the ship at the foot of the tree. He says it surfaced when the oil broke through the ground.
Nuekek ujbar no barke.
The Ark predates the back-in days, and now, after years of study of the manuals he found inside, he believes he's figured the ship out.
Mpa wherefore where?
The Ark has room for 4 more, and he trusts you'll apply wisdom to your compassion and choose whom to save if the world comes to end.
Tamuk gabamuk tab. Mauketo tolu ayadre.
He'll keep the seats open, and you are free to invite up to 4 others to join you in the Ark in the event of a cataclysm.
Mauketo tolu ayadre. Tamuk gabamuk tab.
Out of Date says that from what he's heard, you've been busy.
Far kobe makoto far titaba.
He says he appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately he's got urgent news from his friend Goop in the southeast.
Gabobe farhi poto wata.
Out of Date says that even though he's unsure about your intentions, he hopes you'll support Goop.
Nuekek ujbar no barke.
He says he'll point you in the right direction, but finding Goop and making sure he gets what he needs is up to you. That's the sound of impending doom. Out of Date's premonitions of imminent disaster are true. The Porkypuff needs to be handled.
Ugambun ang ugagad yebromo bufu.
Out of Date says that Goop is worried now that the Southeast World Eater is stepping up its activity.
Le yayato ewe boboye.
He explains that Goop is working on a goo-gliding vessel in order to get to the World Eater, but needs help to get it done. Out of Date suggests that you should head southeast as fast as possible and see what you can do to help. He wonders what's on your mind. Understands completely. So different from the surface down here. Let's see. He's helped Out of Date to get the Ark hardware restored. There's just some wiring left to do before the vessel's ready for takeoff. He says the spark plugs didn't fire, so the pistons couldn't compress the black juice to generate enough spruty bang bang for a takeoff. Can't imagine what you would have done if Out of Date hadn't discovered the Ark. He trusts you won't leave without him now that the tree is dying. He knows your good-hearted nature means you won't leave him behind, but you need to work on yourself if he's going to be isolated with you in the Ark. There are things you don't see eye to eye on. It's not that he doesn't care about others, but the fact that the Ark only has 4 extra seats means you have to be picky when choosing company.
So, what we have here is an opportunity to help your next. There's a seat open on the Ark should you want to offer it as a gesture of appreciation.
Why? You don't need anyone else but yourself and me, of course, but I'm a part of you, so that doesn't count.
If you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go further, go together. The only one we'd want to get away quickly from here is darkness.
But you know you can't go on without me. Even if I'm bad company, I complete you.
I think we can finally agree on something. It is better to be alone than in bad company. But best of all is being good company yourself.
He's been thinking this whole thing with the Ark through and has decided he won't be joining you. First off, he isn't 100% sure he's got the wiring right, and really, he doesn't think he can stand being in that enclosed space with you for long. Gizmo will always make time for you. Says it feels strange to see you wandering about. Says you should take it easy. He doesn't regret rejecting his seat on the Ark. He's prepared for whatever the world has in store for him when the end comes. Gizmo will always make time for you. Says talking to you was interesting. Take your time and enjoy the daylight. That there's Subnautica Station. Goop flounders around in there. So many trees in this region. Let's see. Let your nose lead your way.
Jangu. Atitawa.
Kompohoga, Fativi.
Yatupuwila.
Gulpo ain't the easiest tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days.
Wingy.
Says it's good to see you again. He's Goop. You might remember him from the old days when he tried to teach you how to swim. Goop says you were always so righteous as a child, and he can still feel it, even at a distance. Goop says memories fade surprisingly fast. We are all pieces of what we remember. It's only together we can remember the story as it was. He knows he's easy to remember. There's no one out there as cuckoo as him. He's one of a kind. Goop says our memory keeps things for us and protects them until we are ready to face them again. He understands you've returned to face Lupa-Lupin. That's the destiny you've been carrying within yourself all these years. He says that the catastrophe back then didn't vanquish the good in you. It's still there, as bright as when you were a child. Now the time has come for you to remember and act. Your life is your life, not the story you're told about it. He understands why you seek revenge, but he doesn't think you realize how that'll make you feel once you claimed it.
See? On my side. Go, Dark, go!
First instincts can be truly awful.
The fun thing is always the right thing.
Next time, look at it with a clear heart.
Darkly dark, dark.
Says life on the Goo is wide open. You have so many choices of where to go. Some harder than others, of course. Which kind do you like? Hit the open surf, then. The trouble is you can only rely on yourself, at least until you reach a new shore and make new friends. Figures the world is a goner. Even the Goo will go gone. Thanks you for doing everything you could to de-goop the surf. Wonders why you're flapping around with the Jagni. They spend too much time nesting to do anything fun. Thinks you're only proving his point. But hey, back to the Goo. Knows yesterday is already gone. It's what you do today and tomorrow that'll move you forward. You need to set the past aside, at least for now. He can't leave the Subnautica station, as the pollution has worn down the insulation of his suit. So you must salvage enough scrap to fix up his Goo glide, starting with the old wreck box outside. You should return when you've retrieved the scrap. There's no time to waste if you want to make the Goo glide strong enough to fight the Porky Puff. Out of Date told him the undersurf was the epicenter of the contamination. This was where it struck hardest and inflicted the biggest change to the ecosystem. Don't forget the past. Learn from it. Upsie. Just a few moves left. Make them count. sunshine. Just a few moves left. Make them count. That's not too bad. Dead yet. The heavy stuff won't come down for a while yet. Don't give up now. Got them. Power. Now that's a flesh wound. You can make something from that. Disgusting. Biohazard. Just gross. It's so vibrant out during daylight. Toxanol's offshore drilling caused oily matter to spread with the rain and contaminate both the groundwater and open surf. The long-lasting effect this had on the evolution of wildlife was, as we know now, the only reason we came to exist. You need to line up the switches so they match. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. He's got the goo glide functional. You'll have a pull hook and a salvage net, but no armor, and an engine strong enough to break through the thick goo further out. There are lots of valuables left behind on the surf floor that the salvage net will enable you to haul. You just need to find the right spots. Goop says Gizmo's devised a cannon for the goo glide, but instead of bullets, it flips quacks, squeaky distractions for the triple attentive porky puff, which will give you time to get yourself in position. The best way to find quacks is to talk to Gulp. He has the bearings of the surf archipelago and knows where the quacks like to float. This means you'll have the privilege of visiting Gulp in the Sinky Dink. He'll be able to give you directions to where you'll find quacks. That's where he bobs. Gulp refuses to move from that barge, despite the fact it makes him burf. Goop's not sure, though, if it's the surf sickness or the radium syrup that causes it. Ready to ride. Welcome to the surf archipelago, where the horizon rests on the surfy Goop. You're poking around Hockbur, a prime village. This here is the Sinky Dink, home of Gulp, at the very least.